Hey you guys, welcome to another video by Lonnie's. I'm sorry that this took so long. I'm not gonna quit, you guys. I promise. I love making YouTube videos, but if they come out a little bit slower, I'm sorry, okay? But this video, I really like it. I tried to edit it yesterday, but I literally was falling asleep while editing, so it was really bad. Like, nothing was matching up, so I just restarted it. But yeah, this video, literally think of these characters, like think of Aaron and Peter and Derek as these people on the screen right now. I don't really know. I got inspo kind of. I love Peter. Just want to let that be known. I hope you guys love him too. But I'm almost done with Degrassi, so I may start talking about it a little bit less. I'm sorry, you guys. This is my second time watching it. No, not even. My 40th time watching it. I'm sorry. But anyway, without further ado, here's the video.
Iwaizumi had just moved into the dorm he'd be sharing with 3 other guys. He was the last one to arrive, lugging his bags through the front door, and immediately, all 3 heads turned toward him. The boy with the shaggy mullet was the first to get up, walking over with an easy smile. "Hey man, I'm Derek," he said, holding out his hand. "You're, Iwaizumi, right?" Iwaizumi shook his hand, correcting him with a small amused smile. "You can just call me Hajime." Derek grinned. "All right then, Hajime it is." He gestured toward the other 2 boys. "That's Peter," he said, pointing to the blonde guy sitting cross-legged on the couch, and then toward the other boy with curly hair. "And that's Aaron." Peter gave a small no. "Yo." Aaron waved casually. "What's up, man?" Iwaizumi returned a nod, his expression neutral but polite. Peter tilted his head. "Do you speak English?" Derek groaned dramatically and rolled his eyes. Aaron smacked him on the back of the head. "You racist dumbus." "Ow, what, you guys? He's literally from Japan," Peter said, rubbing his head, his voice tinged with mock offense. "Why are you assuming that?" Derek shot back as Peter pointed at the stack of forms. "It says so on his paperwork, dude." Everyone turned to look at Iwaizumi. He blinked, slightly startled, and nodded. "Yeah." Aaron leaned forward, curiosity flickering across his face. "You're Japanese?" Iwaizumi nodded his head slightly. "And Filipino." Peter's eyes lit up. "That's sick." Iwaizumi gave a tight-lipped awkward smile. Derek meanwhile leaned back and asked, "Do you wanna hit the gym with us?" At the mention of the gym, Iwaizumi's eyes brightened, and the room seemed to mirror his enthusiasm. Derek and Aaron exchanged smiles. "When?" Iwaizumi asked. Aaron squinted and puckered his lips in thought. "Pretty early, maybe like 5. Iwaizumi nodded firmly. "Yeah, alright, that's good." As they headed toward the door, Derek clapped a hand on his shoulder. "You wanna come out to eat with us later? Get to know each other a bit more?" Iwaizumi looked around, pretending to search for an excuse. "Think I'ma stay in and get a little more comfortable." "All right." Once the door clicked shut, Iwaizumi waited a few seconds before pulling out his phone. He scrolled through contacts, found Oikawa's and hit FaceTime. The call connected instantly, and there was Oikawa, lying on his bed with under-eye masks, a bright smile on his face chirping. "Hi baby." "Hey." Iwaizumi's lips curved into a smile. Oikawa giggled confusedly. "What is wrong with you, Iwa-chan?" "Nothing." Iwaizumi said, grinning wider, showing off his dimples and pearly white teeth. "I just met my roommates." Oikawa gasped dramatically. "OMG. Tell me everything." Iwaizumi laughed, shaking his head. "There's this guy named Peter and he low-key reminds me of every blonde white guy from those old American movies you watch." Oikawa cackled. "I knew they didn't just make that up. The other guy, his name is Derek, he's really cool. He seems like someone I'd wanna be friends with outside of these living circumstances. Don't forget about me though, Iwa-chan." Oikawa said, voice teasing. "Why would I?" Iwaizumi replied, rolling his eyes but smiling. Oikawa smirked. White people love themselves a foreign friend. Iwaizumi shook his head, still smiling, then his expression shifted slightly as a light bulb seemed to go off. His eyes brightened, and Oikawa noticed immediately. "What you thinking of?" he asked, smiling fondly. "They work out and they invited me to go to the gym with them," Iwaizumi said, his voice carrying a note of excitement. "Or, they are already taking you in," Oikawa said, his voice softening. Iwaizumi lifted an eyebrow, a small smirk tugging at his lips. "Yeah. They talked like that for hours, voices low and warm." Oikawa asked questions about each of the roommates, teasing him about the obvious friend crush that was slowly forming in Iwaizumi's mind. "That Peter guy, does he talk a lot?" Oikawa asked, amusement in his tone. "From what I've seen, yes," Iwaizumi said, smiling. "It's really Californian-like. A lot of dude, rad all that. But he's funny." "How about the curly one?" "Aaron seems like the most normal one. He's like really relaxed." Iwaizumi leaned back against his bed grinning. "And Eric, the mullet guy. He reminds me of a better Kuru." Oikawa let out a loud laugh, baring all his teeth in the camera. "What does that even mean, Iwa-chan?" "Like he's loud and has this mischievous smile, but I think he's gonna make sure I survive." Oikawa giggled, laying a hand against his cheek. "Iwa-chan, you sound so happy. I love it." "I am," Iwaizumi admitted, voice softer now, almost reluctant to let it be known. I see, Oikawa said gently. "Iwa-chan. I am so super happy you met them, but promise me something. If you're gonna ask me to set one of them up with Atsumu so he can shut up about Sakusa, I don't think I can supply." Oikawa smiles and giggles into the phone saying, No, I'll make sure him and Sakusa work." "Then what exactly am I promising?" "Nothing serious, just call me before you sleep. I want to hear your voice as much as possible before you're swamped with all that college work." Iwaizumi's face relaxed and his heart warmed at the words. "I will," he said, his voice low. "I pinky promise." They stayed on the line until sleep finally claimed them both, the quiet hum of the dorm around Iwaizumi a comforting backdrop to the feeling of being connected even from afar. The next morning, Iwaizumi found himself at the dorm gym with Derek, Peter and Aaron. Everyone was doing their own thing, lifting, stretching, or goofing around, but the occasional jokes floated across the room, and Iwaizumi found himself laughing more than he expected. They were actually funny and easygoing, it was relaxing to be around them. He wiped the sweat off his forehead after finishing a set of bench presses and sat on the nearby machine, trying to catch his breath. On impulse he pulled his shirt off. Aaron's eyes immediately flicked to his ribs. "Whoa, nice tattoo," he said. Iwaizumi glanced down at the inked numbers. 05-12-1981 and 09-27-1978. "Thanks," he said casually. Aaron leaned closer, curiosity in his tone. "What's it for?" Iwaizumi shrugged lightly. "My parents' birthdays." Peter tilted his head, squinting. "Did they like die?" Before Iwaizumi could answer, Derek smacked Peter on the back of his head. "Ow, what?" Peter rubbed the spot, muttering. "They're still alive," Iwaizumi said, shaking his head with a small smile. "They just mean a lot to me." "Oh," Derek and Aaron chorused while ruffling his hair in mock affection. Iwaizumi tucked his lips in and felt his ears heat up, embarrassed. Derek leaned back, smirking. "Ima, say it since I know nobody else will." Iwaizumi looked at him, left eyebrow raised, puzzled. Derek nodded toward him expectantly. "You datin' anybody?" Derek asked, eyes gleaming as Peter leaned in, grinning mischievously. "Yeah, I'm not a homo or anything, but you're, like." He gestured vaguely at Iwaizumi with his hands, and Iwaizumi blinked, confused. Aaron chuckled. "We're saying you're too attractive to be single." Iwaizumi felt his neck and ears heat up immediately. "Thanks," he murmured, looking away. Derek leaned closer, wagging his eyebrows. "If you are, there's a girl I know you'd like her." He pulled out his phone while the others continued to ramble about Iwaizumi's features. He turned the screen toward him, a dark-skinned girl with a puff, a green sweater, ripped jorts, white socks, and Birkenstocks. Peter whistled. "Damn, she's bad." Iwaizumi squinted at the photo, tilting his head. "She's pretty, but I think maybe Peter wants her more." he said dryly as the group erupted in laughter. Iwaizumi rolled his eyes but smirked. I'm in a relationship anyway. The room went silent for a moment. They all looked at each other, eyebrows raised. What? Iwaizumi asked, leaning back on the machine confused by their expressions. Aaron grinned. Who is it? Iwaizumi shook his head. I can't say. Derek shrugged. If you don't think she's attractive, that's fine dude. We've all been through the whole I'm in a relationship thing before. I am in a relationship. Iwaizumi said firmly, rolling back onto the machine, resting against the padding as he exhaled. The others exchanged looks, clearly intrigued, and a little defeated all at once. A week had passed, and the dorm room was alive with the usual chaos. Iwaizumi sat cross-legged on the living room couch, with Derek and Aaron laying the floor, phones in their hand and Peter watching the show on the TV while eating. Iwaizumi had his laptop balanced on his calves, fingers flying over the keyboard. Across the room his phone was charging completely ignored. Suddenly, it started ringing. Hey, Iwaizumi, your phone's ringing. Peter called, not looking up from his KFC. Iwaizumi glanced over, still focused on his laptop. Can you check who it is? Peter leaned forward, eyes widening when he saw the caller ID. Whoa, isn't this that famous volleyball player? Iwaizumi rolled his eyes and held out his hand. Peter handed him the phone and Iwaizumi answered. Before Oikawa could speak, Iwaizumi said something to him quickly in Japanese. Oikawa burst out laughing. OHHMG. That is hilarious Iwa-chan. Can I still meet them? He asked going back to English. Yeah. Iwaizumi said handing the phone back to Peter. Hi. Oikawa's voice rang out cheerfully as he waved. Peter practically jumped. Holy shit, dude, this is doubly rad. I didn't know Hajime just casually had a celebrity in his contacts. Iwaizumi rolled his eyes muttering something under his breath. Oikawa giggled. You know, I love doing charity work. Aaron and Derek exchanged a look, finally looking up from their phones. I feel like I know that voice. Derek murmured. They sat up and looked into the camera. Whoa, you're Oikawa Toru. Derek turned to him, confused. How do you even? It's Hajime's phone, not mine. Oikawa waved at the camera. It's so great to meet you all. Iwa-chan has said so many wonderful things about you guys. Iwaizumi suddenly jumped up and snatched the phone back. Shut the fuck up. He barked, cheeks heating. Iwa-chan? Derek laughed. Iwaizumi tucked his lips in tight, muttering under his breath as the phone began ringing again. What? He snapped harshly. Rude. Oikawa's voice teased from the phone. I'm just trying to stay updated on my best friend's life. Is that so wrong? Peter leaned forward. Hajime, would you wanna come to a party with us tonight? Yeah, it'll be a nice way to show off that pretty little face of yours. Derek smirked. Iwaizumi was about to decline when Oikawa spoke up from the phone. He'll go. I don't think anyone was talking to you. Oikawa ignored him. You need to show face, Iwa-chan. It's good for college life. He then switched to Japanese saying, if you don't go, I'll be angry before adding a cheerful. Bye. The guys stared at Iwaizumi, wide-eyed and buzzing with excitement. He sighed, resigned before muttering. Sure. He muttered. Immediately, they all jumped on him. You're gonna have the time of your life. Aaron said as he clapped his hands. Let's start getting ready. The group dispersed, prepping for the night. Peter leaned over to Iwaizumi. You're gonna love the drug room, I think. Do you do anything? You don't really look like you do anything. Iwaizumi shook his head. I don't. Derek smirked. Pete, don't let him touch any of that weird shit you do. Don't worry, I won't. Peter replied as Iwaizumi frowned. Weird stuff like what? Derek leaned in, lowering his voice. Stuff like meth. Iwaizumi's eyebrows shot up in disbelief. A chorus of yes came in and Peter laughed. The boys continued getting ready, joking and teasing each other the entire time. Eventually, Peter clapped his hands together, signaling everybody. Everybody. Let's head out. Iwaizumi stood, shaking his head with a small amused smile. Despite his initial wants not to go, he felt a sense of anticipation for the night ahead. By the time they arrived, the party was in full swing, music rattling the walls, bass vibrating through the floor, people crowded in the kitchen and spilling into the living room. Iwaizumi stuck close to the three, not exactly what he expected, but it wasn't bad. A girl walked up to their group and heads immediately turned. Derek's eyebrows shot up, Aaron let out a low whistle, and Peter mouthed damn. She bypassed all three of them, walking straight up to Iwaizumi. She pressed a drink into his hand, reaching up on tiptoe while steadying herself by placing both hands on his broad shoulders. Leaning in close, she shouted over the music. "I've never seen you around." Iwaizumi bent down, bringing his mouth to her ear. "Got here last week," he said as she pulled back, biting her lip, and smirked. "Well, I'm glad you decided to show face." Her hand lingered as she caressed his arm before disappearing into the crowd. The second she was gone, his friends erupted. "Bro," Derek hollered, nearly shaking his shoulders. "She wants you bad." Iwaizumi blinked, confused. "What?" Kinda felt like she was just being welcoming. That made them laugh even harder. "Welcoming?" Derek wheezed. "She was trying to welcome you into her bed, man." Peter elbowed him. "You should talk to her, dude." Iwaizumi shook his head firmly. "I already told you, I'm in a relationship." "Oh right," Derek said, sobering a little. "Forgot about that." Peter clapped his hands together suddenly. Okay, enough of that. Let's go to my favorite room." Iwaizumi frowned. "Favorite room?" "The drug room." Peter grinned as the four of them pushed through the crowd until they stepped into a hazy room thick with smoke. People lounged on couches, laughing too loud, others crowded around a table, passing blunts and little baggies of things Iwaizumi couldn't even name. He leaned into Derek's side, voice low. "A room dedicated to this is kinda crazy, no?" Derek chuckled. "California does things different." Peter came back with a blunt in hand and passed it to Derek, who took a casual hit before turning toward Iwaizumi. "You wanna try?" Iwaizumi hesitated, squinting as if weighing his options. He'd never done this before, his brain turned it over. He'd never know if he liked it if he didn't try. Slowly, he nodded. Taking the blunt between his thumb and index finger, he looked to Aaron, who gave him an encouraging grin. "Just put it to your lips and take small puffs. Don't kill yourself with a big one." Peter leaned in. "Inhale slow, man, you'll get it." Iwaizumi brought it to his lips, inhaling carefully. The burn caught him off guard, and he coughed into his fist as he pulled away. "Not bad for your first time," Derek said, patting his back. Peter laughed. "So, how was it?" Iwaizumi shrugged, a small smile in his eyes. "I like the smell but the burn hurts." The rest of the night blurred into the typical rhythm of a college party. He drank a little, smoked a little, and though he wasn't completely gone, he was buzzed looser, more talkative than usual. When they finally left, the four of them staggered down the sidewalk, laughing at nothing. "I've always wanted more piercings," Derek announced, suddenly pointing at Aaron. "Like, your ears. And that eyebrow? That shit's tough, man. I want a stud really bad." Peter's eyes lit up. "Dude, we should all just go get piercings." Iwaizumi grinned. "Yeah, we should." Minutes later they were in a tattoo and piercing shop, squinting at the wall of examples under the bright fluorescent lights. Iwaizumi leaned closer to the chart, pointing with a gleam in his eye. "I want that one." The others followed his finger, and then burst out laughing. "Nipple piercings?" Aaron cackled as Peter doubled over. "I'm so glad we didn't get a boring roommate, man." 10 minutes later, after some drunken back and forth banter with the pisser and everyone picking something different, they each walked out slightly in pain but a lot more hyped. "All right Hajime, let's see it," Derek said, grinning wide. Iwaizumi sighed, lifting his shirt, and revealed the fresh bars glinting against his pectorals. "Holy shit." Aaron started. "That's sick, dude." Peter was still laughing. Wait, hold on. I gotta record this. I'm gonna call Toru." The other three froze in confusion, tilting their heads. Iwaizumi handed the phone to Derek, who accepted it gleefully. The FaceTime connected and Oikawa's sleepy voice came through. "Iwa-chan. Who has the phone?" Derek flipped the camera and the three boys crowded into the frame, waving and singing a chorus of "He." Oikawa blinked, then let out a sigh of relief. "Thank God." Hello Iwa-chan's friends. What's the occasion? Peter grinned mischievously into the camera. You'll see. He flipped the camera back to Iwaizumi and he immediately smirked, lifting his shirt revealing the piercings. Oikawa's face went beet red. Hajime. Put your shirt down and stop parading your beautiful body to the world. Iwaizumi licked his lips and smiled. Do you like it? Oikawa took a deep breath. Yes, I do baby. He caught himself, eyes widening, then tried to cover with a nervous laugh. Baby shark, do. Listen, I'll call you later, okay? Oikawa said quickly. Don't get into any trouble. Iwaizumi responded in rolling his eyes and Oikawa caught his saying back. I'm serious. I love you. Iwaizumi took the phone back with a smile in his eye. Yeah, love you too. Oikawa blew a kiss before the screen went dark and Iwaizumi immediately pocketed the phone. Let's get food. The other three stared at him stunned. What? You guys aren't hungry? He asked, creasing his eyebrows. I'm starved. Derek admitted, and the tension broke. Five Guys was loud and greasy, and exactly what they needed. They dug into burgers and fries, laughter bubbling around the table. Peter leaned back, his eyes narrowing. I'm just gonna ask it. Aaron groaned. Peter. No, seriously. Peter cut him off. He looked at Iwaizumi. Are you and that famous volleyball player dating or what? The table went quiet while Iwaizumi chewed slowly, swallowed, then chuckled. Yeah. Aaron's eyebrows shot up, but somehow maintaining a blank expression. Bruh, I knew it. It was just the vibes I feel. Peter leaned forward. Why didn't you just say so earlier? Iwaizumi shrugged. 'Cause I have just met you guys. Didn't exactly know how you felt about the whole gay thing. Derek laughed, slapping the table. Nah dude. Just 'cause we like chicks doesn't mean we're gonna judge you for that type of stuff. Yeah. Peter added. I don't care or nothing. Just, don't try and kiss me or anything. Derek smacked him on the back of the head. Shut up. Iwaizumi shook his head amused. Don't worry, you're not really my type. Derek smirked. Well, just tell all the girls that, 'cause it's pretty apparent they're gonna ignore us to get all over you. Iwaizumi smiled, ducking his head. How long you two been together anyway? 2 years and 9 months. Iwaizumi said simply while Peter nearly choked on his fry. So you're like, high school sweethearts? Since my second year of high school. Iwaizumi confirmed as Aaron blinked, another question forming. How long have you known him? Like, 15 years no. All three of their eyes bugged out. Yo, 15 years. Aaron gasped. You've been friends for 15 years? He asked disbelievingly. Iwaizumi nodded, sipping his drink with a small, fond smile. Yeah. They whistled in awe, shaking their heads. Peter pointed his fry at him. Man, just, please don't go scamming on all our squirrel, alright? I still want a girlfriend. I promise. Iwaizumi said, rolling his eyes and smiling as he went back to his burger. The conversation rolled on, filled with more questions, and teasing. And for once, Iwaizumi didn't mind. He really liked talking about Oikawa. Sun felt way too bright as Iwaizumi cracked an eye open. He didn't even get that drunk last night, yet his temples still throbbed in a rhythmic pattern. Around him were his roommates who were scattered across the living room like corpses. Peter and Aaron sprawled on the floor, Aaron with a blanket pulled over his head, Derek knocked out in a single couch with his mouth open. The peace didn't last long. Iwaizumi's phone started buzzing obnoxiously from the coffee table, everyone groaning in unison. Shut it off, Hajime. Derek's voice came gravelly. Dude, kill it. Peter groaned, his voice mumbled from the ground below him. Iwaizumi dragged himself up with a sigh, throat dry, and answered without even checking the caller ID. His voice came out scratchy. Hello. An all too familiar, smug voice answered immediately. Your first week and you're already hungover? Hajime, I thought I taught you better than that. Iwaizumi pinched the bridge of his nose. Not today, Oikawa. Oh my gosh, I so totally accidentally called you baby in front of your friends last night. I'm so sorry babe, how can I make it up to you? The word babe got a few snickers from the guys despite their pounding heads. Iwaizumi felt his ears warm but smiled anyway. It's fine Toru, I already told them. On the other end there was a sharp inhale, then Oikawa's dramatic shriek. Really? Iwaizumi jerked the phone away from him with a wince. Please, no yelling right no. Oopsies. Oikawa said completely unapologetic, the grin visible in his tone. Iwaizumi sighed, settling back into the couch. They found out, so I just told them. From the other side of the room, Derek groaned. Hajime shut up, I'm trying to die in peace. That made Iwaizumi laugh under his breath, shaking his head. He lowered his voice, the way he always did when he was just talking to Toru. I'm gonna go back to sleep. No. Yes. You don't have any classes today? Oikawa asked hopefully. It's Saturday. Iwaizumi reminded him. Go back to bed too, you probably stayed up watching K-dramas again. I did not. A comfortable pause stretched between them. Then Iwaizumi muttered, voice low. Alright, bye Shitikawa. Love you. On the other end, Oikawa's laugh softened into a giggle. Bye brute, I love you too. When Iwaizumi finally ended the call and tossed his phone back onto the table, Peter cracked a grin despite his hangover. You two are so gross. Shut up. Aaron snorted. We kinda thought you were some stone-faced guy, but you're a total sap. Derek muffled a laugh into his blanket. Whipped as hell, who knew? Iwaizumi tugged his shirt over his head, ears burning red. I'm going back to sleep, don't wake me up unless there's food in my proximity. And what if the dorm's on fire? I can sleep through the heat. Gotcha. Peter said with a slight chuckle, already planning to tease him more once the Advil kicked in.